Hello YouTube, this is Mickey D bringing you episode 26 of Stationeers, pretty much right after our last episode. And there we go. I did, I didn't do anything more to the base. I did exit the session and restart it just so that, because we did get that error, to try to clear that out. And now sunrise is over there, sets over there. We should be able to hopefully see if the sun is actually out on this. Which is, the sun is down now because we don't have charge. Yeah, looks like. Alright. So I did do some quick reading on some of the forums while I was getting my fresh coffee and whatnot, and it looks like there's a couple different ways to use this really. Your pressure setting is basically just going to pressurize the base to 100 as fast as it can. The draught setting is going to basically, it's for maintaining the base pressure once you hit 100 or so. And what it'll do is it'll let you do an intake and an outtake so that you can run it through a filtration system. I don't know if we're gonna, I mean, we could put it in drop mode, but I don't really, well, yeah, we could, because then it would constantly just filter the base. Supposedly there's kind of issues with balancing it, though. I've seen some different recommendations of using passive vents instead of active vents, and using a volume pump. I think we're going to stick with the active vents and try that. And I actually forgot that there is a, because I always use it as a the filters, but the atmospherics is there's an actual AC machine that we can use to, basically use a passive vent to pull through, cool, and then put the, I think cool or heat, and then output, and it'll run, basically you run a waste pipe out, radiator pipe, to get rid of any heat, or you can collect it that way. Might not be a bad idea to put one in line on here, preferably up at the beginning, which obviously is going to be kind of a pain. We're going to have to kind of, I mean, we do have space, so we can move these all over one. Or alternately, we could do, and did I just get, okay, there we go. That was an autosave. Yeah. Alright, there. How does that check on the screens real quick? And, oh, I think right now we're going to finish hooking up the vents. The base is depressurized. We can go ahead and start punching holes through the walls to run those. We're going to go ahead and just go, oop, I almost constructed that pipe. And I think this one is the one we want to run on the ceiling. That'll be good. Did we get both of those on this one? Of course it is. Oh, no, we gotta get that one. Okay. Yep, we should be able to reach that. There's that. We're good on that one, and then we're gonna get the last one. Alright. And then I think what we're going to do is we're just going to, I don't know if I want to do a logic or computer. I'm actually, for most things, I prefer the computer than the logic. I don't know. I mean, for a game that's supposed to be based on make it as realistic as possible, I don't know anybody that's got computer chips laying all over their floor with, basically, I don't glue a computer chip to my wall and run wires from it to run something. I use something like a console, or a computer. Yeah, so, for some stuff I definitely have a use, I think. But if you're just going to bounce between two ranges, I don't see why I should, put 6 or 8. And you can write to all the same type, though. But then you're running into, another thing I gotta see too is on the batch writer, runs to the same type, does it care about the name? So if we change the name on them, is it see it as a different type? I don't think so. No, probably not, because if it just went by the name, then you could have the two variants of solar panels, have them, both named solar panel, and it would run them. Yeah, so, that kind of really limits it, because, then we're going to run 2 different networks. Whereas with the computer, we can actually just specify, if we're going to run multiple devices. Or if we have multiple devices of the same type on the network, then I think really the computer is the better way to go. If we had a completely separate network, then it might make sense in that case. All right, so we needed radiators, and I think we're going to throw some steel in there. Where is the steel? And hopefully we have enough. And I think we wanted 4 radiators. And I could have swore we made these, but I guess not. Okay, so we definitely... One... Two... Yeah, so we'll start with 1 radiator on each one. 3... and 4. And do they stack? Oh, they do. So very nice. Oh, steel, steel. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's right. We just pulled all the panels off. I was like, where do we get all the steel from? All right, we'll take a stack of 20 with us first. And, hey, look, all the stuff that we can't toss out. We'll just start over here. And just a corner. And then we're still going to, at some point, have to automate all this. I think we'll kind of just run it manually for now. We could do it with a computer. Probably relatively easy. Oh, I think I went probably too far. Well, that doesn't really connect. Okay. that's in there. We'll have to double check that. How are you doing? Hope you're enjoying the stream. Oh, 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 come on. Come on. I want it right there. All right, let's drop those for a minute. I'm doing fine. Trying to stay warm. It is -1 degrees outside right now, Fahrenheit. And it's supposed to be -18 for the... oh, sorry, hang on. Oh, for the low tonight. And then I think tomorrow is supposed to be -25 with the wind chill. Oh, yeah, I guess that does show as being connected. So obviously they need to, yeah, it is. Yeah, they need to do a little bit of work on that model, I'd say. All right, so that should give us cooling there. Let me kick it on. Oh, why are we? Oh, we have no pressure. That's right. Those will not run. They'll air out if there's no atmosphere pressure. I think we're going to need more pipes. Yes, we are. Oh, that is the wall. Okay, standing on the ledge, I guess. And let's get this. Should be right there. And oh, I guess we ran out. Can we put these down before the... Oh, we can put them down before the pipes are there. That's cool. I was actually kind of surprised to let me do that. I figured I'd have to be placed on a pipe. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I've got now... I'm at 111 hours in it right now. You know, and I'm still working on stuff. You know, it's relatively bug-free, too. I mean, every now and then you get an exception error or something's kind of wonky, but usually a restart, or not even a restart of the client, just exiting your session, exiting back to the main menu and then reloading your save fixes most of the bugs. I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with it. Obviously, at some point, we will have spaceships and whatnot, motherships as they're calling them. You know, I'm interested to see what they're going to do for the mechanics for Mars. I'm really hoping that, you know, there'll be some atmosphere on Mars. We're going to go out the airlock for that one. And, wow, my headset is way too high. All right, let's go fill the jetpack. You know, they still got, we haven't even built the hydroponics area yet, which doesn't really serve a purpose at this point, but it will later on. You'll need to eat. There we go. Oh, very nice. Yes. So now that we have windows, we can actually see when it's daylight outside. And we want to go out this side. Oh, nice. We don't have to go out the airlock. We can sneak around. Yeah, I'd say overall I'm pretty happy with it, you know. They've been doing... oh, I kind of want to move that. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I mean, Mars is definitely going to be in the game. It's an option, but you can't. It's locked right now. And I believe the dev stream is. I believe they're. I'm not 100% positive, but I think they've been playing on Mars. I could be wrong on that though. Um, but it's basically locked right now until they finalize it. I'm assuming it's going to have some sort of atmosphere, um, and that's probably why I don't. Maybe they don't have the mechanics done for that yet. Um, and then obviously there's so basically right now is when you start up a game, you have three choices. You have uh, you have the moon, which is what we're playing on, as in survival. You have in space, which is basically an asteroid field, in creative, and then you have Mars, which is locked. It's not unavailable right now. I would assume that later on, um, they are going to make, and if they don't add more planets. I mean, I'd like to see them actually keep adding more. Or I like to see it that I'm hoping later on, basically, as is that you'll start somewhere, say either in space or on the moon, and then basically once you make a mothership, you can go. So if I wanted to go fly over to Mars, I say I could fly over to Mars. And where did our? Oh, we picked up pipes and left the vents, didn't we? It sounds like something I would do. Um, I don't know about the computing language. Um, you know, oh, yeah, we need more pipes anyway. I haven't heard or seen anything about that. I'd also like to see it have mod support, but I haven't looked to see if they've specified anything for that either. And we're gonna need more pipes. Pipe. Come on, kit pipe. Construction kit pipe. Right, there we go. Oh, we get enough to make 20. That's fine. We can let it run. We'll come back in and grab it when we get back to the other side. Yeah, I think it would be interesting to do it as long as they don't. Like, I'm not really a coding guy. Now, if there is Steam Workshop support, you can upload a world. If they let people make scripts, and then if you can upload those scripts, such as, like, say, Space Engineers, then I would be definitely for, you know, having the scripting support. Because then, you know, guys like you that know coding and guys like me that don't know coding, you know, you can basically write your codes and I can find something that I like or find useful or, you know, oh, autosave. Then it finds a lot useful, you know, a lot more useful. There we go. Or if I liked it enough, I guess I could learn it. But so far, you know, I don't really understand why they went in. Yeah, that's what they did in Space Engineers, and I would imagine they would probably do the same. Uh, there's another one too. I think I want to say I thought in Pyron they added scripting support to it as well, and I think that's in Lua. And that's what Space Engineers support is in. I believe is in Lua as well. So it's definitely a popular one to use, you know, for games. All right. Get that jetpack off. Those pipes should be done. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to, you know, what they're going to do with the game. what's going to be added. I mean, we know ships are coming. You can make some of the parts, I guess, but there's not really a point because the ships are not really functional yet. They call them basically mobile grids. So I'm hoping that means that we'll be able to make like vehicles as well. Because I wouldn't mind making a. Oh yeah, yeah. And well, I don't really want to get too far into that because you never know when they're gonna break a world. Break the world in like an update or something, which they haven't so far. So but who's to say that that'll always be true? But maybe when I get to the point that if I don't have anything else to do on the base or whatnot, then that's not a bad idea to build a ship. I think they've got a couple different size thrusters, gyroscope, control console. I think. I don't know. I think I don't know if they have any other parts yet. I'm assuming there's going to be some type of core grid block or something to differentiate that is a mobile. No, I actually forgot all about the air conditioners. I was sticking the heating vents on, and I just completely forgot about them. So I just said, well, I'll use the small ones. The drawback to, and I don't really know right now if air conditioner setup would actually work, because, oh, I gotta fix that pipe. In this case, because I have a separate return system from my output system. Oh, I didn't finish that. All right. Let's go grab the pipes. So mine, the way it's set up right now is, anything I dump in here runs through this filtration system, goes throughout all the tanks, and then there's one final waste. But I'm actually filtering out pollution as well. So I'm collecting all the resources right now. And this basically doesn't have anything to output, which reminds me I need to put a passive vent on that one of these days. And then everything is getting stored in here. So oxygen, nitrogen, I believe that's volatiles, carbon dioxide, water, and pollution. And then these tie into the refill lines. So nitrogen, oxygen, volatiles, so mixed for fuel for the welder. And then that's the base oxygen supply, which are these. So 3 there, and like another 3 in this room, and 2 in the other room over there, and 3 in over there. They output directly from the O2 system. And then if the intake ones, so like there's 1 in each room for an intake, they dump back into the filtration system. So right now it will kind of like purge the whole base. So they will input, and it'll rerun through the system. I am 100% O2 right now, which I could easily mix that because this is all one line that runs through. So I could do a nitrogen mix. And I can't remember, the last I heard was that the nitrogen mix, I mean, I know in the spacesuit the nitrogen counts as a pollutant. Somebody told me that the base, you can run a mix in the base. Yeah, The problem well, actually, it's not that bad. You don't get that much nitrogen. So if you're going to do it, I mean, I was way over this. For some reason, the last time I went to pressurize the base, I don't know if the base thought it was leaking, which is a bug I've run into before. But I basically lost about 2/3 of my oxygen. And that's even with filling up my suit and whatnot over time and running the furnace. That was it. And I did accidentally vent about, I don't know, 8 kPa for the base yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, it isn't. But, right now to get an 80% ratio, 80-20% ratio, I would have I had 1.4. I was at 4, so I was probably up to about 5. And with what I recollected, then I'd be up almost around 6. So, that's about half of because we haven't really used nitrogen. I mean, we've only filled up the jetpack a few times. So, you would have to collect a ton of oxides to get the nitrogen. Now, not to say that I couldn't have a ratio. I could just dump all the nitrogen in to it and, have a higher oxygen ratio. And then as I get more nitrogen, I can slowly up the mixture. I mean, that is definitely doable, and it would help pressurize the base. I mean, as long as we had the 20% ox. Oh, we did put the pipes in there. I just can't see them from down below. Well, never mind. Yeah, it looks like they're not there. Ta-da! Okay. Yeah, so that is an option to do that. It would give us one way to extend our current oxygen supply. As far as I know, the game is not. It's not critical that it's an 80-20 ratio. I think really the game's looking for, as long as you have a 20% oxygen level, you could breathe it. I know. I'm really hoping that they do add the nuclear reactors. I mean, I can't imagine they're not going to add something like that. My thought is that would be one of the uses for water, is for cooling. And that it would so then we'd have to have a cooling system. That would give us one of the uses for water. I'm assuming they're going to be used in hydroponics as well. And I wouldn't mind seeing like maybe we could have like some type of well, we can't really do geothermal. There's no, if they add lava or something, or later, which obviously it's not going to be on the moon. Maybe Mars. Oh yeah, we get that open. And I really wish they made these after you pulled it and it dumped the inventory. That you levers just returned. Okay, so we're all sealed up there. We're all sealed up. So I have that one to fix. And we'll take this. Yeah, obviously I ran a 3-way there. Oh, is there some? Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, I would imagine. I mean, obviously for a game, they could, make them a little bit more common. Okay, so we're going to want to turn it that way. And let's see if we can get this lined up here. Okay, yes, yellow on both ends. All right, we're good there. I'd also like them to see them add some type of like electrolyzer or something instead of, I'm hoping this is kind of a yeah. Yeah, I hope they add some type of like electrolyzer or something instead of using this to, try to do the gases. Um, or, making the enclosed room and just letting them evaporate and go into the system. And is that? Yeah, it is. Okay. Um, what else? There was a couple things. I'd like to see like suit upgrade. Ooh. Why are we low on power now? We don't usually drop that low. Yeah. I was thinking the sealed oven too. I mean, honestly, I'd. Wow, that is still loud. Um, yeah, my other thought is why not just have pipes? Have an input and an output on the furnace, and then you can just dump. Basically, because that's just an oven, really. Yeah, yeah, I think that would work a lot better. Because I mean, and plus that's easy to automate too. You know. Oops. Okay, there. We don't need those anymore. So we should now be able to. Let's change my suit battery before I forget. I also want to see. Yeah, one of my biggest gripes with the game is give me a way to plug in a tracking beacon, or make them, either put a solar panel on it, or give me a tracking beacon that I can place on a block and run a wire to. That way I can hook it up to a solar panel. Yeah, it would be nice to have like a freezer or some type of cold storage. Um, I mean, honestly, you can make an enclosed room that is just not pressurized. Like if you had one outside, um, which that is actually something I need to finish off before we pressurize the base again and heat it. That was actually a really good reminder. I think it should be here. Is it here or here? I don't see it on either one. One of these has the device we're looking for. It should be this one. There it is. Yes, that duct. That is for our gas input right now. And why did I leave this open? I left this open for a reason. Oh, because we need to make a valve. Actually, we will go ahead and close this for now. And autosave. Yeah, I mean, right now with the tracking beacon, if you, even if you put like a nuclear battery in it, which obviously you're not going to have near the beginning, they're pretty much pointless except to mark your base. I mean, if you wanted to have an outpost or something somewhere, there's no way to guarantee that it's not going to shut off. I mean, at least if you could have it, place it, and wire it into a power grid. I mean, plus that would be a lot more convenient for the bases. Just give me one I can stick on the wall, or an antenna. Yeah, it's they're an upsize from the large bat. So you get the small batteries, you have the large batteries, and then you have a nuclear battery. And basically the nuclear batteries can hold a lot more power. And by a lot, I have no idea how much more. They just hold way more. But that's portable. I'm assuming that maybe we'll get more batteries, base batteries, later on, though it's not really, I mean, you can just keep adding more, building more. So which one of these days I gotta move Um, I would maybe like to actually see a boiler. I don't know if we'd really need one though or not. Yeah, I don't know. And what was I? Oh, yeah, shoots. Shoots. Oh, yeah, yep. Yeah, because I was thinking, yeah, if you had a boiler, then you could, we could have like a steam turbine or something like that. Because right now we basically have coal and we have solar. That's it. Um, obviously that won't always be all there's going to be. Why won't you place there? Is there something on the other side of that wall? That should be placeable. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was just off on it. I'm really hoping they'll have, oh good. I almost hit that pipe. That would have been annoying. Alright, we're going to make some more chutes. Yes. Yeah, I have the basic, like 4 logic chip setup where it's doing 1.8 and just dividing up by 1.8, which works. I'm getting a decent enough power. We're not having any power shortages. We're actually charging up to, I need to add another battery in. We're charging up to full power during the day. So I could have a little bit more storage. Maybe, once I actually have a line running, because basically I have a line starting at the front of the airlock and running across the roof. Once I actually probably fill up across the base, then maybe I'll look at upgrading the logics to be, to the, to set them in max angle and do it by the, is it 1.5? Divided by 1.5. Where it's more efficient. But until, solar panels are so cheap that until we get to that point, I can't really see a reason to upgrade it. Once, yeah, yep. And iron. Where do we have iron? 50 iron, 93 iron. Yeah, we should smelt some more iron while we're here. Yep. Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen, the 1.5 with a min-max, so it doesn't go over the angles, or the 0 to 100. And then I think it starts off with an offset. How many chutes we need? We probably don't need too many. We'll build some. Yeah, I think the one I saw one with a 10, and I think that was a lot bigger setup. I mean, I think that one it was probably like twice the size. We don't need to leave that on. Because I think it was like a 10, 3 something. Yeah, that was kind of a... Yeah, yep. Yeah, that had, I think there, was there one? Because basically you can just see daylight sensor not active. So you can just add something, you know, if the daylight sensor is not active, just set it to 0. And then if it's active, then you can set it to run. Yeah, there's what we're doing for solar panels now, which we're actually getting near the end of the roof. So, which it's working good. Yeah, that's what this is. Has its own APC that runs just the chips for the solar panels. Yeah, so that runs there, and it charges. It outputs just enough to. It outputs double what this draws, which is 45 watts. And then that gives it enough that it, during the day, it brings it back up to full charge. So at the end of the day, the battery's always blue. So that way we don't slowly, you know, one day we come out and, oh man, I gotta find that. I think it's over here. Oh, actually, hang on. It was, yeah, so we gotta go through this block, because it's, this block? The top of this block. Yeah, right there. You know what? We should just put a bend in this pipe, because we're going to need a wall on this side. Unless we just do the wall blocks and not do the frame blocks. Because really, we just need a 1x1. We just need a 1-block room. No, it has a. It just has a regular large battery. I haven't got up to making the nuclear batteries yet. They take all the alloys, I think, to make, and I haven't made all the alloys yet. But that's more than enough. I mean, I could probably actually run that on a small battery. It's just the big battery gives it a decent buffer. Because I did run into the issue all of a sudden yesterday where the base was drawing all the power and that APC was not getting any power. Which is why we added the transformer in to kind of, yeah, make it add. To run through. Well, it's not really backup. That's solely what the chips run through. They're not tied into the base power. So, which I could do. I mean, I could just put a transformer so it doesn't let the power backflow. But it won't backflow to charge this either. But that's maybe an option for later on. I do want to make it too that if the base power gets low, it will kick on the generator. And which is easy enough to do. That APC. No, it's not. It's not. It's not really. Well, it is a kind of a no. All the logic chips run solely off of this. The logic chips are not tied into the base power. So the logic chips controlling the solar panels they get charged through it. You know, it charges this during the day, but the battery keeps the system up and running independent of the base power. Which again, I could throw some transformers down that way, feed back in backwards, and it would let it power it. The thought is it's such a small draw. I mean, the logic system only takes the 45 watts, and you know we're pumping 90 in, so like I said, it tops off the battery at the end of the day. So there's not really a reason to tie in. Oh, okay. What? Wait. What? Oh, no, not an output. We just want a corner. Okay, yeah, because we're going to come this way. And I think... Oh, we might actually have enough to actually finish all this. We can do that. Shoot. And... shoot, Ben. Which, why it wants to face it that way, I have no idea. There we go. We stand in there. I think we actually want to place it there. This is for, so what we'll do is we'll enclose this in a room, put a door on it, and not have it won't be pressurized. And then what that will let us do is we can, when the base is pressurized and heated, we can just, when we come back from mining, we'll just put a door on it. It won't be pressurized, so we can drop all of our volatiles in there, and this feeds right into the furnace that ties into the filtration system for all the gases. And then that way, because otherwise if we take volatiles into the base to put them into the furnace and the base is heated and pressurized, then all the volatiles are going to get dumped into the base atmosphere. Yeah. And plus, if it's, because in the game, if the sun is shining, or if the sun shines on any of the ices, it will make them evaporate. Or if it's a heated area, as long as it's above 1 degree, then they'll evaporate as well. So we don't want them, we don't want volatiles and things like that to be evaporating in the base, because it'll just pollute the air, for one, and for two, if it is flammable, it is flammable. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we gotta run a power line to that real quick. No, right now, I don't know if they're going to change that, but right now you just dump them into the furnace and it smelts. It raises it up like a little bit. Where's the power on? Oh, there it is. I think it raises the temperature in the furnace like right above freezing, basically. Even though it's not technically like igniting or anything. I'm assuming that the whole smelting in the furnace thing is a placeholder for now until they get something in. I mean, I can't imagine it's as in depth as the rest of the systems are in the game for what's already implemented. I can't imagine that they would stick with that. Oh, you know what? Let's throw that in there. We probably didn't want to do that because we actually need those. Turn the jetpack off. And we just need a straight wire there. Come on. And we're going to want a three-way corner here, and then a regular corner there. There we go. And we need to change this to a junction. I really wish they would standardize these. There we go. All right. So that will work. Oh, you know what? We're all right. Well, no, I don't want to do that. We'll mess up our airlock for now. Okay, so this gives us our power to the bin. Very nice. So we can dump stuff into the furnace. It'll feed it through, dump it into the furnace. Yeah, you can, any ice goes into it right now. So the oxides, the oxides, which contains your oxygen and nitrogen, your volatiles, which is your basically volatiles. It's basically hydrogen, and you can put ice in it, which gives you water. And I don't know if you get oxygen back from the water or not. I think you might just get water, but I haven't actually read up on it or checked on it. And let's see. And then this will give us, which we might just go ahead and so we know where it's at. Run a pipe through. There we go. No, you actually do want to when you the smeltery. That's how you mix your alloys. So you actually do need to mix them at the correct ratio, and then you can ignite it. If you're just smelting gases or the ices to make the gases, you don't need to activate the furnace. But when you're doing the alloys, you activate the furnace. You have to get within the temperature range and the pressure range. And I don't know if it would actually ignite. It probably would not ignite if you didn't have. If you're doing volatiles and you pushed it, yeah, it would just ignite it. Okay, why do we have one plate left over? Did we? Okay, here. Yep, so now this will run in. I kind of wish maybe I might move this up later on just so I'm not looking at it run through the ceiling. But I guess it's not a bad thing because oh, how are we one shorter than what we started off with? We probably got one floating around somewhere outside. Okay, there we go. So this is the one I'm actually using for smelting for alloys. So oxygen and then hydrogen come through. Mixer valve to mix the ratio. Pipe analyzer is so I can control it. The computer controls the ratios. Just using a simple script of if it's above or below the pressure, the min max basically that I've got set, that this is outputting. So basically the computer is reading what the analyzer is outputting for the pressure. And then it will control this because these gas mixers basically act as a pump, and it will just keep pushing in here until the pipe explodes, which is not fun. So and then basically right now is I just kick on the regulator and it'll pump the gas in and I can ignite it. And then this is a back pressure regulator that, are they both just labeled as pressure regulator, or are they not labeled as a back? And this should be a back pressure regulator, which it should be. I got to make sure I put the right one back on there. But it's basically so you can control the pressure in the furnace, because if the furnace gets too high, it will explode as well. It's really high, though. You have to get it really, really high. And then if we set it to 0, it'll vent out the system. And this ties in through, it runs out the back wall, runs through some radiators to cool the pipe, which I got to look into because it didn't really seem to be doing that great of a job. And this might be something where I would tie the AC into with a storage tank. Yeah, I've had a couple in the base. A couple pipes blew, like this blew one time. Didn't explode, I don't think. I think it blew and it was fine. Didn't damage anything really. And then the mixing one over here blew at one point. And there was actually, so this blew, and it was just volatile. It was the volatiles, and well, it's our flammable mix basically. And I basically came around the corner from working, I think, in the furnace room or in here or something, and there was literally a fireball moving through the base and like destroying all the machines, like one by one by one. Luckily, it had not auto-saved, because if it had, I would have been starting over from scratch, because if you don't have the autoclave or the autolathe, you basically can't make the other machines. Yeah. So, and that's when I started doing dual saves. So now I usually, before each stream, I have a save, and then I alternate between streams basically. So at the worst, I'm only going to lose about like an hour's worth of work or so. Or if I get a weird bug, then I'll switch over to the other one. I'll make it save, and I'll save over to the other one so it doesn't. But as far as I know, so far every bug, it's just like like I said, just exiting the map and reloading it fixes it. Nothing. There's been like any map corruption bugs or anything like that. Okay, so that is all good. We can stop draining the base now. And I think we had one more of those on. Yeah, it would be. I want to see if they do like so here's the uranium, which is the nice glowing green. I'd like to see if they add radiation, especially if they do add the nuclear reactors. You know, you can see it from there. I'd like to see you know, solar flares. You know, maybe if you're on the moon or something. Oh, there's. Okay, so one. We've got two. We need 3 sheets right there. Oh, I actually have them on me. And then let's see how. I'm going to see how this handles. Okay, so. While we're in here, let's go ahead and dump the waste tank. One of these days I'll actually got to hook up a pressure analyzer to that so I can just put it out to a display. Because otherwise I get impatient and I keep picking it up to see if it's empty or not yet. Now, where else did I have? I thought there was somewhere else I had a back pressure regulator. So if I come over here and let's get this. We don't want to control inward vents. I think it turns them. Actually, we could do the inward vents. I do. The waste tank is well, the waste tank is just the whatever it filters out of your suit air, which is normally just CO2. These ones are the spares for everything. So my oxygen tank, my nitrogen tank, and the fuel canister. I didn't make an extra one for the waste tank because it fills so slow, that, you know, basically I just put it there, and as long as I wait like 10, 20 seconds, whatever, it'll be empty. And worst comes to worst, actually, you can so if I wanted to, I could open that vent, so I could just vent it back into the base atmosphere, or if I'm outside, just vent it. But right now, as far as I know, well, basically the only sources of carbon dioxide is from your waste tank in your suit, and then from the furnace when it smelts. And hang on, I'm going to cough again. Okay. But yeah, everything else I have a spare tank for. All right, I wanted to see. Now, I find it really weird that you can't. Well, you can't turn that off, first of all. So I wonder if this is. I think this is still a works in progress, because right now you can only select vents, and I don't know why it won't let me select that vent. Oh, unless maybe. Oh, okay. So these ones that are red, those are already controlled for the airlock, so that's why it's not letting us choose them. And I think I ran into the. I'm going to try this. I think when I tried the N-word vents, it switched them to outward, which I did not want, because that's not the O2 system. That is the pollution system, or the filtration system. Oh, right now. For the most part, yeah. I haven't really separated anything out, or I haven't had a need to. I'm not over the. I'm running the heavy cables on the. Oh, there's the one we missed. I'm running the heavy cables on the for the input side from the solars, and I haven't. I haven't maxed out any of the lines yet, so maybe later on. Um, but then it's also, I'd have to run two separate lines. So, the one for the power, the one for the data, for the some most part. And they are going to be changing this. I guess for now, everything's just using, the power and the data cable is the same. I guess there's going to be a separate data cable is the plan. So supposedly data and power will be two separate systems. And who knows? Maybe they'll add a server or a router or something, and you can only have so many things plugged into it. Who knows? And autosave. So I am going to go ahead and try. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not counting those, is it? Why do we have 5 inward vents? We should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and because we have a second one. No. Yes, we do. No, I got rid of it. Why do we have 5 inward vents? Where would be the 5th one? 1, 2, 3, 4. There shouldn't be anywhere else that has an inward vent. I only put one inward vent in. I only put an inward vent in each room. The only thing else that should have, I think this is the only, no, again, I pulled it out. Yeah, I used to have one over here, but we don't need that now because that was when I first, that was all there was to input into the system before I ran all the other ones. I don't know why it's seeing 5 inward vents. Unless it's, well, no, these should, okay, maybe it is seeing these. Oh, alright, I guess it is seeing those. Well, actually, okay. So if it's seeing 5, I should not be able to select. I can select that one. Outward, outward. Well, no, that should be the one I can't select. Inward. 2, 3. Yeah, I don't get that. Alright, so what we're going to do is just set it to pressure. See what it does. Yeah, see, it switches the mode on them. So we're going to turn that off. Honestly, they shouldn't really be able to blow well, except until I run the furnace, and then it's going to have something in the line. There's an easy fix for it, is if you pull them back off the wall, you actually have to go reset them. It doesn't know what it is now. So is it trying to control? Yeah, see, it didn't try to control these ones because they're controlled by the airlock. And it didn't try to control. Huh. Is there something on the network that's separating them? I'm guessing. Because it's not controlling. Actually, do I? Oh, it locks them. When I disable the system, it shuts them off. But that's weird. Yeah, there must be something. I wouldn't think so. This is the main. Everything kind of ties into the batteries right here. Let me see. How does... So it's swapping this one, but it's not swapping the others. Because it didn't swap that one. And it didn't swap that one. I wonder, is it... You know what? Is it only controlling... No, it didn't swap that one this time. Oh, because it's not reselected. Okay. Yeah, see now it's blowing out, and one of those is the exhaust. And yeah, same thing. So it's resetting them to the default. Which, yeah, if you don't set it offline, then it will keep running it. Yeah, so it's returning it to the state it was before the console kicked on. one up here. Jetpack. So I think what I could do, and my plan is basically that those will always run. There's less of them running than the outputs, so it shouldn't drain the air in the base. It should just pull the it should just filter out the atmosphere. Okay, so we got that one. We got that one, we got that one, we got that one, we got that one. That should be all of them. So we can let that pressure, yep. And yep. And now that we're pressuring, we could actually kick on the heaters. Which I might have gone a little overboard on the heaters. Probably don't need quite that many. It'll be interesting to see what the drain-in is on the base now. Oh, I wonder, is that what the purpose of the, yeah, which it's not going to get the pressure again. I wonder, because I noticed you can, like these, put a data disk on, which I have not found a use for. And I'm not sure exactly why that's there. But I was just thinking that there is a monitor console, and I'm wondering if we hook a monitor console up, if we put a data disk in, maybe we can do something through that. Or it might just be something that's not implemented yet. Oh, let me guess. Where are we losing? Did we lose? Yeah, we lost even more this time. Where is it dumping out at? I don't know if there's just a bug that when it starts filling up, because we had the base up to 80. I depressurized the base, and it should have pumped everything back in here, and then when we repressurized the base, it only pressurized up to 60 something, and then we depressurized the base and repressurized it. Now we're only up at like 46, and I bet if we depressurize it, we're going to be missing quite a bit of oxygen. There's nowhere for it to go though, so that's what I don't understand. I mean, it's a closed system. I mean, and that's all we're pumping out is oxygen. So I think that there's a bug in how the rooms seal. And I don't know if it's because when we initially put in so much atmosphere that it's counting some of it as escaping until you know what, a way to test would be is if we disable that. That should turn off all the vents. And I've done this before. Close the gate. Does the room depressurize? I did have a bug where one room was depressurizing. Restarted the client and the leak stopped. I think it checks on world load if the room is sealed or not. Okay, so this is obviously not depressurizing. We know the airlock's not going to depressurize because we cycle that. Okay. This is not depressurizing. Obviously this room is, well, we'll do this one last. This is the one that was not. Yeah, it applies to these aren't wall blocks. These are the frame blocks. The bug didn't apply to these types of blocks. It applied to the actual like thin wall, the or like as thick as this here, the strip, which you can apply on top of these, which make them look nice. But you can also just make your walls out of those. So if you don't want your walls to be a block wide and basically it would just be as thick as the door, I didn't want to use those. So because you can't obviously put stuff inside of them, and you can't mount as much stuff on them. So I will probably use them as a decorative cover later on. But okay, this room is not depressurizing either. But we have, besides that, you only have to break one block and then put it back together to have it recalculate. Yeah, and we're not losing pressure on here. So I don't know what's going on with the system that it's losing about 1,000 kPa. Wow, actually we lost, I think, 2,000 kPa in the tank in the last time. So it'll probably be about the same this time. And the easiest way to do that is just pump it back in. So if we depressurize the base, which it actually does take a while. Wow, nice. So even with the heaters running, we're getting a full charge during the, oh, we didn't have all the heaters on. I can pull in. And last one. Alright, since we're depressurizing. Oh, it heated up warm in here. Oh, wow, this is a small room, though, too. And autosave. So, what I'm going to do is probably just set up a computer to maintain the base temperature, and it can just, if it's, below 20 or whatever, it'll kick on the heaters. If it's above 20, it'll kick on the AC. And that can just cycle. It'll just cycle through the script. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say we lost almost all of our oxygen. Yeah, I don't know where it's. I'm assuming there's some bug in the pipe system. Yeah, which is going to be sucking. That means don't keep cycling the pressure in the base, obviously. And it sucks. We're losing it. We're losing it on fill up, not on. I mean, the other option is I can try to do, because I wasn't really having this before. So I guess the other option is I can try to just turn on one vent, start the base pressurizing, and then let it build up to a couple kPa so that it knows that it's a sealed room, and then kick on the other vents and maybe see if the issue doesn't happen. Maybe it's where it just tries to, because I haven't had that problem until I started using this console, where it kicks on all the vents at once. I mean, I used to just go through and be like, I'm under pressurized, just hit the vents. You know, which really this kind of seems, I don't know. We might just pull this out. It's, you know, obviously not everything works on it anyway, because it's got monitors for stuff, but we obviously can't control any heating or cooling or filtration on it. So really all you can do with it now is to pressurize to 100. Actually, want the disk on me. And really, we can do the same thing with the computer and or logic chips. Well, no, we don't want to use logic chips for that because we'd have to set up 2 separate networks. Okay, yeah, now we're at 0, and we have literally 391. Plus a little bit, whatever more little bit we get. Yeah, so there's definitely a bug there. And maybe that has something to do with the last patch where they were working on the atmospherics. Maybe they introduced a bug there. Or, like I said, it could be because I'm using that console, which I hadn't used before. Oh, I got my jetpack on still. Oh, there's actually still a little bit of pressure over here. Yeah, we'll let it run. And we can go ahead and shut that off. All right. Well, we have heating and cooling, and unfortunately, we are losing all the atmosphere for the base, so we can't actually get it pressurized. You know what? Well, no, we haven't even turned them on. I was going to say the only other spot I can think that all the atmosphere went is that when we pressurized the pipe, it pressurized the radiator pipes as well. Because if it pressurized those pipes, that's going to take it out of the system. And it did. It pressurized them to, wow. Oh, yeah, it's 1.8 kp. Or kPa. So even though we haven't, let's go check them all, because one of them I did try running. But I bet that's what happened with it. It didn't get lost. It filled up the pipe networks for all the radiators that we put in, even though that we haven't run the radiators. Yeah, so 2.9. So yeah, see, it's actually, since I'm venting the base, that's pulling the atmosphere out of those pipes. So that would be where all the oxygen went, at least this time. Before, I don't know, because we didn't hook anything else up. I mean, the pipes were all the same. But definitely this time, that's probably where it all went. Is it's pressurized those pipes. So at least we know that's not a bug. And obviously, it's still, those take a while to vent out. Then, yeah, because there's a passive vent in there, so it's going to try to match the pressure. As far as I know, though, does this actually... .5. I want to see if it would actually drop the pressure faster if it's actually running, but I don't think we're really going to be able to tell from that. Yeah, so 27. I don't know. I still don't know if we're going to get it all back. I mean, we had 1 kPa in there, but that's inside of a tank, or inside of a pipe. Obviously, it's a lot smaller volume. I don't know if we're gonna get it all back or not. Where did I add the other one? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna... Well, that's still got 1.4 kp in it. Oh no, that's world. Oh no, it's 1.4. Okay, yeah, that matches the base pressure. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So yes, it did disappear then. Yeah, because yes. For some reason, I was thinking the base pressure was in PA, not kPa. Yeah, so we're 1.3. I mean, it's averaging. It doesn't really show decimals. So on the GUI. So yeah, it's definitely the oxygen did disappear. All right. Well, that's something we'll have to figure out. Like I said, I think I'll have to go do a mining run. I'll bring back, at this point, I'm going to have to get like probably 6 loads of oxides to get the base pressurized, if not more. And then just try, like I said, kick on one. Don't use the pressure. Don't use that. And see if it will, that really bothers me. I have that one section of pipe not, or wall not welded on. And see if that keeps the, see if the issue still happens, if the oxygen disappears or not. I'm going to suspect that probably not. Like I said, I wasn't having this before. But we'll see, you know. It's just kind of disappointing because I was hoping to have the whole base pressurized today and get test out the heating and the cooling and, you know, but, oh well. I mean, we could still run the heating and cooling, but if we pull out of it and we lose more OTU, I'd rather not do that. All right. Well, so anyway, yeah, tomorrow I will go do a mining run. I'll go do at least a couple of mining runs off camera, just to get oxides and whatnot. I think we're pretty much set on other resources for now. Yeah, maybe a little bit of copper, just because we go through a ton of wiring and stuff. Yeah, I'll grab a couple loads of oxides and try to get the base, give us some pressure, give us some more for pressurization. Then we'll obviously test out trying to pressurize it without using that, see if it makes a difference or not. And then I guess from there, I don't know, maybe we'll work on, I was going to work on I'm going to make the INVAR. We might as well go ahead and make that so we can make the digital valve, so we can separate out the two, the purge versus filtration system. And maybe we'll go ahead and set up a mixer valve for the base O2, to run that as a mix. And then we could go ahead and set up a I don't know. Now I'm like, do I really want to work on the O2 system? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. We'll do the test, see if we lose O2 or not when we pressurize the base. If we don't lose O2 pressurizing it manually, then we'll try to set up the computer system and keep going with that to pressurize it. If we just keep losing O2 now because there's a bug in the system, then we'll probably focus on a different area until it's fixed. Because I can't really test the system if I'm going to be losing, a whole bunch of O2. And the heat's rising again. Okay, so obviously we still have, we did have some heaters on. Did I miss one? I thought I turned them all off. And we had that bug earlier, which at least we know the fix for. And I'm pretty sure we don't have any heaters on. But there does seem to be a bug that when you turn the heaters off, it doesn't actually turn them off. There's nothing I could guess. Though I don't even think that the heaters run it that fast. What is it? Is it this one? Yeah, so it's still acting like that heater is putting out heat. Even though that heater is off. Because the farther we get from it, the more it drops. Yeah, so there is a bug with that. And we'll see if doing the restart, reloading the world fixes that or not. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can go ahead and maybe still hook up that valve, make the INVAR, and go ahead and enclose and finish off the room in there for the chute system so that when we can pressurize the base, we have a way to add more stuff to more oxides and whatnot to a heated, pressurized, climate controlled area without just having everything evaporate in the atmosphere. Yeah, so we'll do the testing and then go from there and see. Otherwise, if we do find out that, yeah, it is losing the system, or the system is kind of losing the O2, maybe what we'll do then is I'll make that room, which I really kind of think, I was kind of thinking about moving it down from here. But then it's just going to leave me kind of an aisle here, which I guess is fine. I mean, you don't really need anything else in there. But if we do a staircase down, we put some guardrail down the side. And then we can move our batteries, our generator and stuff down into there. And autosave. Yeah, and then maybe we'll distribute out maybe what we'll, I was going to say we could split out the power into a few different grids. But then we'd have to kind of load balance them. I was thinking if we, come down and then we can have the input go into 4 different, if we have a couple different batteries. I don't really see a reason to do that for the power side, though. It's more the data that we'd want to separate out. I really do hope that they do, like colored cables. Well, obviously, I think, I don't know if I tried painting cables or not. But as in like different colored cables did not join together. So then that way you could run, a separate system. Or what would be really cool is if you could run separate colored lines because if you like, say if you pick up a pipe and it's a green pipe, then when you pick up the pipe, and if that green pipe is in your hand and you put it back down, it stays green. Now, if you have a stack of pipes in your hand that are like yellow or some other color, actually, and I don't remember, I think I tested it, and if you have a colored pipe in your hand of like, say, white, and you pick up a green pipe, and they will still combine, and both pipes default back to whatever the standard color is. So like the yellow, the yellow pipe it defaults back to that. So it basically reverts back to uncolored or whatever its normal color is, or unpainted color is. It would be interesting to see that, if you had bundled or colored wires, that you could run them in the same block, and maybe, it changes it to show like it's a bundled. And, that way if you had like a blue and a red, it would actually show like, maybe a slightly different model with like a blue and a red. And then that way you could run them in the same spot. Because really, I mean, if this was real life, you could have a bundle of, depending on the size of the wire, of course, but, you can grab like, 5 extension cords and, have them in between your finger and your thumb. Or, run multiple cables through a conduit in real life. It would be nice. I don't know if they would ever get that far, but at least if you had color ones and you could like cross over and like the different colors did not connect to each other, that would be awesome. Because then it would be a lot easier to run multiple networks and not have them tie into each other if you didn't want to, but you would be able to, basically cross over and, not have to figure out, okay, I'm going to have to go down through this block and come back over so I don't, hit this line or tie these two together. And be interested and see. You never know. That's the thing, though. It's still in early access. They could do something completely different. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they've already stated that this is the very starter, basic, just kind of get it implemented, and then it's going to get more in depth after that. I think the whole power system slash data system, is basically, this is just the initial version of it. So it'll be kind of cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah, we're about an almost. Yeah, we're about an hour and. Well, we're an hour and 39 minutes right now. So I'm gonna call this episode good. Unfortunately, we ran into O2 issues. So we'll have to look into that a little bit more. But we'll do that first thing next episode. I'll do some oxide mining off of the episode, and then depending on the results of whatever we find out, we'll figure out where we'll go from there. Maybe, like I said, we'll go focus on power storage and the power network opposed to, the O2 system right now. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I will probably stream an episode or two tomorrow. It'll be in the evening. I've got some stuff I could do during the day. But I hope everybody enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.